Greetings, folks. Iolair here. Today I've got a very close match sent to me by Farkel1, who plays on the EU server. In this battle, he is sailing the Tier 10 Royal Navy light cruiser HMS Minotaur. Now, I have featured Farkel once before in a battle where he was playing the Alaska, and I'll leave a link to that replay in the description below. In this battle, he is in a domination match on Haven with one Tier 8 aircraft carrier per team and also only one destroyer per team. Now, Farkel is running a somewhat unorthodox build. He takes the survivability expert skill, which gives the Minotaur a roughly additional 7,000 effective HP if he is able to use all of his repair party charges. Now, the Minotaur, like a few other Royal Navy ships, is able to recover 50% of its citadel damage, which is the highest ratio of ships in the game. There are some other ships that are also able to recover that much, not too many, but having the survivability expert skill is indeed not a bad choice on a ship like this. It gives him basically an additional roughly 15% of additional HP on top of his base of 43,300. I've started over here on the Charlie side. Currently had been working from some concealment, but he's been detected by planes, and he is using his smoke now to not only cover himself, but also his allied Buffalo here. This is a key reason that I am mostly playing with smoke with the Royal Navy light cruisers right now, from the Edinburgh, the Neptune, and the Minotaur, is with the very high ratio of carriers and matches, being spotted is a serious issue. So the Minotaur obviously has exceptionally good AA, so I don't think that he's too concerned about being able to shoot down planes and avoid aerial attacks. I think the biggest issue is the detection, which is certainly the concern that I would have, and he's going to be able to work these ships that are trying to push down the east flank here, both the Georgia and the Bismarck. There's also, it looks like a Hipper that's going to be coming through here, and there's also a Drake in the area. The opposing destroyer, I'm not sure if he's been detected yet. I think he may be, oh no, in fact we do know. He was, the gearing had taken the Charlie cap. So each team has two caps. And in fact, the Allies gave up first blood. The Brindisi, that was over by Bravo, I believe. So the Allies are already down a point. Now, he's been putting fire on the Drake, and now he has switched to the Hipper, which has come out broadside and is clearly intending to send torpedoes. But this is not a good way to run a long-range artillery cruiser, putting yourself flat broadside to battleships and a bunch of other ships that can be firing on you. And this Hipper is rapidly lost most or all of his health. In fact, it's just a matter of who's going to get the kill here. It's going to be Farkel, and that's going to be his first kill of the game. And going to transition now to the Bismarck. Now, his smoke is about to expire. It's clear that he would like to be able to send torpedoes, but with his allied Kremlin directly behind him, that's going to be a little bit risky, although it looks like the Bismarck is starting to turn back in, so he's going to send short here. His smoke has expired. He has been detected by the Bismarck. He's going to want to get into some concealment. He is being targeted. It's not clear which ship is targeting him. There is the gearing, very low health, getting some shots out on him. This can be a little bit tricky to try to hit a destroyer at that range with these very lofty shell ballistics, but he does get the gearing. So that is his second kill for the game, and he's up to over 60,000 in damage, and we're just, that's about 5 minutes into the game. Now comes the Drake, which turned around and was coming back toward Charlie. Charlie was taken by the Allies. The Z-52 heads up to take both Bravo and then move back and take Charlie. The Drake came out flat broadside, took a couple of salvos from Farkel here before he angled in. That AP salvo from the Drake was not very effective. And then the Drake is going to turn back out here, giving full broadside. And this is, again, a place where the Minotaur is very powerful, being able to put out a lot of DPM very quickly, and he does take down the Drake for his third kill. It looks like the Drake was trying to avoid a torpedo drop, I suspect, from the carrier, but also potentially was trying to avoid the torpedoes from the Z-52. But either way, the Farkel does have his third kill, and he's up to over 94,000 in damage. Now, the Z-52 has gone back to Bravo to try to defend that, but or defend that cap, but he is in point blank range to an Amalfi, and I don't think I need to remind too many people of how powerful these Italian cruisers can be against destroyers. I don't know that that's a good choice for him to try to do. That Amalfi is very healthy, and it looks like the Z-52 right now is not taking too much damage. Maybe the Amalfi is trying to get his guns turned on the destroyer. I'm not sure. Farkel's going to smoke up here and start working the, well, I'm going to assume is the Vanguard, and also there's a broadside Buffalo. It looks like he's now targeting. Now we'll keep an eye on that Z-52. The Z-52 takes down the Amalfi, but he then is the Z-52 is finished off by the carrier. So I'm not sure that that was a good exchange, but nonetheless, the Z-52 was able to take 2 caps and take down that Tier 8 cruiser. Now Farkel is working the Buffalo, which is quite a bit farther from him from the relative to the Vanguard. I might have prioritized the Vanguard first, but I think Farkel is trying to take advantage of the very broadside position or angle that the Buffalo has. And also the Buffalo with radar can be a threat to the Minotaur, being able to light him up in case he were to drop into smoke and within range of the Buffalo's radar. But now the Buffalo's gotten a little too far behind the train to be able for Farkel to fire on him. So Farkel's going to transition here to the Vanguard, sending some single launch torpedoes here. This can be effective in terms of spreading out your sends based on the direction of the Vanguard. Now, I'm not sure why Farkel is not firing here. The Minotaur has very good smoke firing concealment. I think it's around 5 kilometers. So I would think that he would be able to fire on this Vanguard without being detected. Well, no, he is detected, and he is able to finish off the Vanguard, and that gives him his 4th kill. So now it looks like, yeah, it looks like he's going to head toward Alpha. Now, looking at the overall tactical situation, the ship counts are even. The Allies have 3 caps, which is good. Oh, he's just detected the carrier. The Allies have 3 caps, which is good, so they're getting a material point lead, but the Allies are quite spread out. There's a Allied Bismarck over on the 9 line. In fact, he has just gone down, leaving the Montana and Georgia over there on the east flank, and going to be able to push back in on the Allies here on the east side. And most of the remainder of the opponents are over on the west, west of Bravo. Again, getting some intermittent viewing of the Graf Zeppelin. I have to find out if the Zeppelin is a secondary build. Yeah, I'm starting to see some secondary shots coming in already. So the Graf Zeppelin secondaries can be maximized to 9.4 kilometers. And it looks like he's got pretty much a full, at least the range is there, a full range secondary build on this Graf Zeppelin. I'm not sure if he has the manual fire control for secondary armament skill to improve the accuracy. Wow. Holy smokes. Now we know who was targeting, or at least one of the ships that was targeting poor Farkel there. He just took a huge wallop from one of the 2 battleships over on the east side, either the Georgia or the Montana, definitely within range for both of them. I'm not sure which one it was that fired on him, but he was very fortunate to not be finished off there. He's going to move back in. The Graf Zeppelin has turned back around toward Farkel. I don't know whether he felt some, he had some advantage being able to get his secondaries on Farkel. I'm not sure, but this is not the direction I don't think. If I were playing the Graf Zeppelin, I would go back toward Farkel here on the Minotaur. Farkel's getting a lot of bounces off the bow, but those torpedoes look pretty good on the carrier. Yes, he finishes off the carrier. That gives him Kraken Unleashed. So very nicely done. The ship counts are even again. The Allies have a more than 240 point lead, or almost 240 points, and Farkel is going to be able to slide into the Alpha cap here, and that's going to deny the opponents from getting points from any caps for the time being. Now the opponents are moving into Bravo. There's a Buffalo and the Moskva. The Buffalo just goes down from secondaries from the Bismarck, and that leaves the Moskva moving into the Bravo cap. Again, I mentioned the Georgia and the Montana. The Montana is moving south toward Delta, and the Allied Implacable has made a good choice to move further from the opponents here, trying to keep himself out of detection. Fortunately, with the opposing carrier having been taken down, that will give the Allied carrier a chance to remain undetected and be able to move away from the Montana. Farkel's working here with some fire on the Moskva. Now, I think the Moskva is radaring here not to detect Farkel, but to detect the Bismarck, because the Bismarck was on the other side of one of those islands, and the Bismarck just goes down from fire from the Moskva. It looked like the Bismarck was giving full broadside, and while he's not going to take any Citadel hits from the Moskva has very powerful AP, and fired into the upper belt is going to do a lot of penetrating damage, and that did indeed finish off the Bismarck. Now the Allies have just lost another ship, leaving just Farkel and his carrier against the two battleships, the Montana, the Georgia, and the Moskva. Now, Farkel makes the right choice here, in my opinion, to smoke up, to get into concealment. The smoke is not going to be used for any sort of smoke firing. This is just to get himself back into some concealment. Now, I've advanced the replay here a couple of minutes because at this point, I think Farkel realizes that he probably should be running because the Allies had such a significant point lead and they had all those caps. But the opponents have made some very good choices in terms of trying to get themselves back in this game. They took both Bravo and Charlie. The Montana is in Delta, and the Moskva and the Georgia have moved into Alpha. Now, these caps, or points from these caps, are gained at a rate of 4 points per 6 seconds. So that's 40 points per minute per cap. And with Allies now getting no points from any caps, and the opponents now getting from 2 caps and soon 3 right there, that means that the opponents are gaining at 120 points per minute. And with the time remaining, they will be able to close that point gap that the Allies currently benefit from. Now, again, hats off to the Allied carrier. He is doing a good job keeping that Delta cap reset. That is crucial to prevent the opponents from getting even further points. However, I suspect at this point, Farkel has realized he has to kill one of these ships in order for his team to win. So even with the carrier keeping the resets on Delta, Farkel is going to have to sink one of these ships. Now, he has sent torpedoes on the Georgia. You see a little bit of friendly taunting and banter between the Georgia and Farkel here in chat. Farkel is going to move away. Now, Farkel has a risk here because the Georgia is a very fast battleship, and with engine boost, he could catch up with Farkel. Farkel, he's already quite close to Farkel's detection range. Farkel is almost about to run into the map border, but he is going to turn here. We are seeing a bug in the replay system. The tracking of the torpedoes is flawed. It's obviously out of line with the camera. He does get a torpedo on the Georgia, but it's not enough to kill the battleship. So at this point, I think Farkel realizes, I have to kill this battleship. Now's my opportunity. The battleship does have his guns slightly turned away. He is going to have to turn his turrets back and turn the ship. But Farkel's going to be able to get off 3-4 salvos. Here comes the shot from the Georgia. There's high caliber. He is going to sink the Georgia, and he avoids a kill from the, or from a kill shot from the Georgia. And that secures the win for the Allies. So some really excellent heads-up play, an excellent job staying alive for his team. He did have one repair party charge left, but I think the I think the survivability expert skill, likely gave him some benefit here. So 219,000 in damage, Kraken unleashed 6 kills, high caliber, Confederate, and Dreadnoughts, over 2,500 base XP, and again, the Implacable coming in second, doing an excellent job keeping that Delta cap reset. So very well done, and the Georgia did very well as well. That would have been a 2,500 base XP win if he had won, or his team had won, excuse me. So thank you very much, Farkel, for sharing this replay with us. It was a pleasure to host it for you. I hope everybody did enjoy the replay and the commentary. Please do leave your comments below, and as always, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.